It is Monday again, and it's been frightfully cold this weekend here. I know we're in autumn, but it's felt very, very much like winter. It's been very cold. So today is the perfect make. I'm going to be showing you how to make lovely snowflakes. Now, you can make the snowflake as it is, like this, with nothing attached, and then you can make that into a pendant and do a strung necklace on it. You could also add a little ribbon or jump rings, and you can attach this to maybe a Christmas tree or have it as a lovely little decoration. Or you can make a full necklace using one very long length of tiger tail, which is why I'm using today. Now, why I'm using it, is because I think the tiger tail gives it a lovely strength, and it's got that sturdiness and it keeps its shape. You could probably use a different type of thread, whichever you're comfortable working with. You could possibly use wire, but it would have to be a very thin gauge, maybe a 0.4, 0.3. But with the tiger tail, it's not going to snap on you. You can bring it through numerous times. And I'm very, very pleased with them. I have written myself little instructions, so hopefully I don't get lost, because it's been a little while since I've made these now. I did have a little practice last night, so please do bear with me, and and hopefully I'll show you how it's done. It is fairly straightforward. It's just remembering which pattern goes where and when. But each snowflake is unique and different. So if yours looks a little bit different and you want to do, each time I've beaded the necklace that runs around your neckline, I've done that in a completely different way, just using up all the gorgeous drops, pearls, and little crystals that we've got for you today. So I'm going to say hello because I've got loads of you in, and then I'm going to take you over to the website and show you the colours. So firstly, Phoenix says, "Ooh, snowflakes, you just know I have another order waiting to do, another one to add. I can't wait. My engagement ring is a snowflake." That's lovely. Thank you, Phoenix. Claire says, "Yeah, I can't wait. Love to you in, is that South Carolina, USA? Love your channel. The necklace is absolutely gorgeous." Thank you so much, Claire. Good morning to Rachel, who's in a chilly Barrow. Who else have we got in? We've got the lovely Carol and Trish and Jan. Diane says, "Good morning to everybody from a sunny but chilly Skelmersdale." Camille's in as well. She says, "Good morning. How's your weekend? Chilly but dry here." My weekend was fine. It was lovely. I went out with my sister on Friday. We went to a very gorgeous place. It was meant to be just going for tea. Had a little bit, probably too many glasses of wine. Had a very late night, but it was lovely catching up with her. Saturday, I just stayed in and recovered, and was making. I've got lots of things that I've been making, so I've been a very busy bee, but it was a lovely, lovely weekend, Camille. But if you did venture out, you definitely needed to wrap up. Good morning to Barbara. Good morning to Jan. She says it's fair and frosty morning in Sudbury. I've had to root out the hats, the gloves, all the winter woolies. Good morning to Lisa. She says, "Good morning." She's not been on for a while. She's been ill. Well, we hope you're feeling better, Lisa. And thank you so much for coming back and joining us this morning. Good morning to Kath. Good morning to Joanne. She says the sun's trying to shine through, but it's a cold day. Definitely October temperature. The sun is coming out now. It's starting to get nice and bright, so hopefully it'll warm up a little bit. And good morning to you. I'm unsure of your name because there's lots of numbers. I think I'm going to call you Ria, if that's okay. Good morning to Denise. She says, "Good morning, lovely snowflake." Jan says the snowflakes look gorgeous. Hi to Mina. Hello to Kay in Wisconsin. How are you doing? Good morning to Sue. She says it's cold but lovely and sunny. Diane Crosscraft says, "I'd love to work out a matching pair of earrings to go with this." You would have to do it smaller, maybe a smaller drop, or you could substitute the drop for something else. I mean, you could have really large statement ones. They'd be quite sweet, actually, but they might be a little too big. But the method will work regardless of how large or how small you use the components. And good morning to Facebook user who's watching in Florida. We've got people from everywhere today. Jan says she's loving the snowflakes. Good morning to Linda, who's in a sunny Spain. Oh, hola, Linda. How are you doing? Not seen you for a little while. I hope you're well. Lovely to catch up. We'll have to have a little chat soon. Good morning to Tracy. She says, good morning, Natalie and all. And okay, it's Gloria. Hello to Gloria. How are you doing? Right, I'm going to take you over to the website now. Now I've said good mornings to you all. So we are on totallybeads.co.uk. This is where you find your kits. Everything you need in your kit will be supplied to you. We don't really need tools, to be honest. I'm going to use some cutters to trim a tiger tail at the end, and maybe some pliers, chain nose pliers, just to attach any crimp beads, culottes, jump rings, clasp. But I'm just going to show you how to do the main body of the snowflake today, and then you can decide how you'd like to design the main body of your necklace. So I'm heading into the video tutorial category here. And you can see we did the Avon bracelets on Friday, and today we're doing the crystal snowflake pendant. Now I've called it a pendant because, as I say, you could make this, if you prefer, into just a Christmas decoration or a festive decoration. A few of them would look lovely actually hanging up, I think, over a fireplace or something. I'm getting in the mood, to be honest. I'm starting to feel a little festive. Haven't really started any Christmas shopping or anything like that, but we know we've still got a little while off. I don't know how many days or how many weeks, but you can get these kits now. They will arrive for you way in advance, so you can make these all up so they'll be ready in time for your festive Decembers. So you can see we've got 4 lovely colours for you to choose from today. They're all very, very sparkly, and they are £7.99 each. You are getting an awful lot of components in these kits today, or you can get 2 for £13 as well. So if you'd like to mix them up, I do think the burnt orange would look beautiful with the purple iris. I think the hematite would look lovely with the black diamond. So you can mix them up if you wish to. So these are the colours. We've got black diamond, burnt orange, hematite and purple iris. I'll show you what's in the kit and you can have a little look. So these, I'm quite proud of them, to be honest. And when I very first started the shape of them, you can also make some very lovely flowers doing the first part of this design. So I'm tempted to maybe do something similar and make kind of a flower up with it as well, maybe in a few months' time. So you're getting your crystal drop beads. They are 5 by 7 millimeters. You've got your crystal bicones, which are 4 millimeters. You've got your glass pearl beads, which are 3 millimeters. Your culottes, your crimp beads, your jump rings, your lobster clasp, and your tiger tail. If I scroll down a little bit, you can see all of the lovely colours that we've got in this kit for you. So I'm using the silver plated bicones, which are your 4mm. I'm using the pewter grey 3mm glass pearls and the black diamond crystal drops, which are your 5 by 7. If you are wanting to make this smaller, you could use, little micro crystals instead if you prefer. If you want to kind of slim line down that design, then that's a possibility for you. So this is your gorgeous black diamond. I'm going to show you that on the mat because I don't think the colours in those crystal drops are looking quite like they are down here on my mat. It is more of kind of a silvery grey colour. But they have got they're just so shimmery, but they're very lovely. So you are just making one long necklace in this with a very large snowflake as like a focal feature. But if you do want to get more than one, then we've got the offer, which is 2 for £13. We do ship worldwide, so you can change your currency at the top of the page and you can get them. I think if you order them today, they'll still definitely be wherever you are in the world before Christmas. This one is your burnt orange. I love this. It's more of a golden colour because of the pearls that I'm using in there. Again, I'll scroll down so you can see what colours we've got. So I'm using the dark gold glass pearls. We've got the auburn crystals and the burnt orange drops. I'm just going to refer when I'm doing this pattern as pearl drop crystal. So that's what we're using in this lovely design. Don't know what my favourite is, to be honest. I think they're all very lovely. This one is your hematite. And you can see there we're using all the same components in terms of your size, but we're using different colours in this one. So you've got the hematite crystal drops, you've got the French grey glass pearls, and you've got the hematite premium crystals as well. I am feeling a little bit congested, so do excuse me if my voice sounds a little croaky. I have got a hot drink not too far away from me if I do have to stop. This one is really, really pretty. Again, I'll show you the colours down on the mat. This is your purple iris, so you can add whatever crystals and pearls you want into the neckline, but all of the designs for the snowflakes will be made up the same, and this is your lovely colour. I'm going to check this for you because I'm not sure whether it is the pink magenta that I'm using there. I will double check and make sure that description is correct for you. But you've got these kind of plummy, kind of purpley colours in the in your pearls. You've got your purple iris and your purple iris drops and crystals, so they're very, very pretty. So that's everything you need to make one of these lovely snowflakes. Let me know in the comment section which is your favourite. What colours do you have over the festive period in your house? Do you change the colour of your Christmas tree if you have a Christmas tree? Do you have a theme? Mine is a bit of a mismatch. It's tends to be reds and silvers, and then I try and add a new Christmas decoration to my tree each year, so it becomes quite handmade looking when I've got lots of bits that I've made, but also my little ones made as well. So let me know in the comment section whether it's Hanukkah that you celebrate, whether it's Christmas, whether it's anything else. Do you have a particular theme in terms of colour when you decorate in your house? Camille says, guess what my favourite is? Is it the burnt orange by any chance? Good morning to Joe. Hello to Tina. Hello to Mina. She says she can't see Lucy today, so she's popped the link in for the kit. Thank you so much. This is the link, so you should be able to click on this, or if not, just type in totallybeads.co.uk onto a search engine and you can get into the website to find the Learn to Make Jewellery sections, and it is the crystal snowflake pendant that we're using today. Good morning to Janice, she's watching in Swansea. Good morning to Judith, who's in a very chilly Livingston. Facebook user says, good morning Natalie and everyone from Perth in Scotland. I think we're pretty much hitting everywhere, aren't we? We've got somebody watching in every part of the country and most places in the world as well. I've got Shirley in watching from Florida. Thank you so much for joining us. Hello to Anne. Camille says you're very chirpy this morning. I feel it, feeling a little bit, I don't know, excited, happy to be with you as always. I'm not feeling 100% health-wise. I thought it may be because of the drink on Friday. Do drink in moderation if you're going to. But actually, I don't know. My house has still got a little bit of a leggy that no one's shifting, and I've been adamant I'm not catching it. But when you can just kind of feel like a tickle in your throat, I'm wondering whether. No, positive mental attitude. I'm feeling fine and chirpy, Camille. So I think I've said hello to everybody. Judith says my Christmas tree is a green tree with silver and crystal decorations. Oh, that's lovely. So it's going to catch the light and be all twinkly. I'm going to take you down on the mat now so you can see how these colours look for me. So this is the silvery one that we have. If I click over to the website, am I going to go blank screen? So this is your black diamond. So you can see here, I froze then for a moment. My crystal drops. Please give me some focus. They're so shimmery. I think that's the reason why it's bouncing the light off. They look gorgeous with these little pearls. But I don't know, they look quite dark, but you've got a kind of half silver with them. So if I can show you there, you've got a kind of clear, dark, silvery section, and then here is kind of almost got bronze parts to it, but you can see you can twist them round as well. So that's that one for you. I've also got this gorgeous burnt orange, which looks beautiful with those gold pearls. Very, very shimmery. They've also got like little bits of pink, I think, amongst this kind of burnt orange drop. Debbie says, "Ooh, pretty." Joanne says, "Every year I try to do a different colour theme to my tree, but I end up putting most of all the decorations on. It's so hard to decide." I know. Well, I like having a new Christmas decoration each year because then you've got that kind of, the memories of where you've been or what's happened that year. This one is your hematite, which is what I'm going to be demoing for you today. Absolutely gorgeous. Look at the twinkles. Twinkle, twinkle, little snowflake. And then this is your kind of purple iris one. I love this. Look at the shimmers on that. Now, these are predominantly purple, but obviously as they catch the light, they've got like twinkles of blues as well on. Joe says, "Oh, they're quite big. They'd make quite lovely Christmas decorations." They are quite big. If I can find my ruler, they are quite large. They are about 6.5 centimeters or 2.5 inches in length there. So it is quite a large statement piece, but that means they lend themselves really nice to decorations as well if you don't want to wear them as a necklace. And I think they'd be lovely little gifts. So, if you've got little Christmas presents wrapped or any present wrapped, you could maybe pop a little ribbon on there as well as a gift tag, just to kind of add that little personal touch to your make. Mina says, "Wow, lovely colour." Right, let's get going. I'm going to take a very long length of my tiger tail. I'm going to go for about 1.5 meters, 120 centimetres. Now, if I'm not going to need all that for just the snowflake, but if I am going to use the same piece, one length of tiger tail, to make my necklace run all the way up, I want to make sure that I've got enough to go all the way around my neck and sit comfortably. So this is quite a long one and it sits quite long. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with a length of tiger tail, which is, you could keep it on your reel for the first part of it if you wanted to until we have to bring it back through. But I'm going to pop a little bead stopper on just for now so I know that little kind of mental note that I've got possibly about 30 centimeters from one side, and that way I'm going to have enough to bead upwards as well. Or if I feel like I'm running low on this side, I can then start working off the other end of the tail, if that makes sense. Rachel says, "I don't have the physical ability to put a tree up, sadly, but my flat is decorated with decorations at Christmas." Well, make some of these, Rachel. You could pop them in the window or something, and they would look really, really pretty. So I'm going to start with quite a long tail end in, and then I've got quite a long length of my tiger tail on the other side, which I'm going to work off. So to start, I'm going to open up my pearls and my crystals off my strand. My crystals being my lovely little bicones and my gorgeous drops. And I'm going to start by popping. In fact, I'm going to pour a couple of these out just so I don't get too tangled up as I go. So I'm going to start on my very long end and I'm going to add a pearl and thread that on. I'm then going to add a crystal drop and I'm going to pop it on so it's narrow end towards the pearl. Then I'm going to add another pearl. I'm going to add another crystal, pearl, crystal, pearl. And then I'm going to add another one of my crystal drops, only this time I'm going to put it wide end down. So I've got this little pattern here, pearl, drop, going narrow end down, pearl, crystal, pearl, crystal, pearl, drop wider end down in the opposite direction. And I'm going to move that up to near where I've put my stopper for now. So I know I've got all of this long length to work with, but I've still got a long way that way, so I can add that onto my neckline. Now I'm going to take this end of my tail, the tail side that I've been working off, and I'm going to bring my tail back through the first pearl in the opposite direction. So I'm just going to run that back up, and I'm going to draw that together, and that's going to create this little loop. Good morning, Angela. How are you doing? She's a little bit later because she was out walking the dog. So I've created that little loop here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add on another pearl. So I'm still using this long length. I'm going to get my pearl. I'm going to put my drop on. Again, going narrow way down first. So the smaller end of that crystal drop is towards the pearl. I'm going to add a pearl, my crystal bicone, my pearl, another little crystal bicone, and then I'm going to finish with a pearl. I'm not popping the drop on again this time. Michelle says, good morning, everybody. Absolutely gorgeous make, as always. Love following your tutorials. You make it super easy to follow. Thank you so much, Michelle. I'm hoping I do today. So there you go. I've added on the same sequence, only I'm not adding on the drop in the other direction. So this time I've got my little pearl, my drop, my pearl, my crystal, my pearl, my crystal, and my pearl. And I'm going to take that same end, only this time I'm going to run it back through this crystal drop on the first. I'm going to call this a petal for now because it starts off like a flower shape. So I'm going to take that tiger tail and just run it through that crystal here. I'm going to draw it all the way through, and then I'm going to take it back through that pearl we've just added. So not the first petal, but this one here, this pearl on the new petal we've just made. And I'm going to bring that all the way through, and that will join them together. Just pull it taut so it looks like this. And now I'm going to repeat that until I've done 5 petals, so to speak. So I'm just going to pull some more off my strand. You are getting lovely long strands of the drops and the crystals and the pearls. So don't worry, you're going to have plenty to make the snowflake, and then you can use whichever ones you want for the main body of your necklace. So as I say, I'm just going to repeat that now to make 5 petals. So I'm going to go pearl, drop on the narrow end, pearl again, crystal bicone, pearl, crystal, and a pearl. Camille says, hello, petal. Alison says, hi from a beautiful spring day in Cape Town. Super delighted to catch a live tutorial. Thank you so much for joining us, Alison. It is a beautiful spring day where you're watching, but we're doing snowflakes here. I know. Well, you could do this part and you could have your petals and your flower. Again, I'm going to ignore this little pearl here. I'm just going to go down the crystal, and I'm taking my tiger tail or thread through the wide part of the crystal first, and it comes out the narrow end. I draw that together. I just get rid of that little bit of thread that I've got attached. And then I'm going to go back through the pearl. So I'm going up. Make sure it doesn't go through that crystal as well, that drop. If you need to, you can space that out so you can just get through where you need to, and then you can pull that down taut again. So that's my 3rd petal, and then just another repeat. Pearl, drop, going narrow end down first, pearl, crystal. Sorry if you can hear an alarm which is going on outside. There you go, it's stopped now. Just had to say it, and then someone was, I think it was a car alarm, and then a pearl. So we're just keeping that pattern repeat. It's really straightforward once you've got that order right. Pearl, drop, pearl, crystal, pearl, crystal, pearl. Alison says, so I've heard, and it's dark in the morning now. And she also says it's fascinating how it comes together. Thank you very much. Again, using the tail end that I'm working off. So I'm ignoring this side completely, and I'm just going off this very long length. Always worth having more than you think you're going to need so you don't run low when it comes to doing the beaded part of your necklace. But don't forget, you can just attach these on afterwards. It doesn't have to be one long length tiger tail. So if you do run short, don't worry too much. But I would always say err on the side of caution. It's not too tricky to work with a long length of tiger tail. It's not going to get tangled up like your wire or a thread, a normal like beading thread type of stuff would. I'm going to just hold that so it doesn't twist too much as I pull that through. And that is my 4th petal. So I've got one more to do. Pearl, drop, pearl, crystal, pearl, crystal, pearl. Back through the drop, going wider side, out through the narrower side. And I'm just making sure my tiger tail is coming over the other piece that's running along here, just to make sure it's going to sit nice and it's not going to get too twisted. And then back up this pearl here. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 petals. Now I'm going to take, if I've kept this side on the reel, this is where I'm going to need to cut it off because I'm going to need to use both ends of this now. So after I've made my 5 petals, I'm going to add a pearl onto one end of my tiger tail, and then I'm going to bring the other end on the other side back through in the opposite direction, and I'm going to draw that down together. So I've created this lovely little flower. Now that fully joins them together, so it's going to give it a little bit of shape. So it's looking like that. If you feel you've got a bit of a gap and it's not sitting right tension wise, just pull those petals at the side out again and then rejoin them, if that makes sense. So pull on these afterwards. If you feel there's a little bit of a gap, pull one of the petals at the side out and just pull it back taut. So I've added my pearl onto one end and I've brought that back through. Now I'm going to bring each end back through the drop. So I've got this side here and I'm going to run that back through the drop that's on the nearest side to it. Caught my string. Oh, my crystals have gone everywhere. Again, just making sure that doesn't kind of loop. And then the other side here is going to go from this side of the pearl back through that drop as well. So just running it up the drops. Like so. Now I'm going to add a pearl and a bicone onto each. So pearl onto one side and a bicone, and a pearl onto one side and my bicone. And then I'm going to add another pearl onto one, and then bring the other end back through that pearl in the opposite direction. And as I pull that together, I've got my fully formed flower. Again, if you still feel like you need to adjust the spacing of this, you can give this a little pull. Just pull that thread back through to tighten it up. So I've got this lovely little flower, and this is what I'm saying. I think that'd make a really nice design on its own as itself. So if you wanted to make your earrings, you could just make your earrings if you wanted like this, or in maybe a little while's time, we could use the same method with maybe different components, and we could make some kind of floral shapes up instead. So I'm now going to start adding the outer kind of points to my snowflake to turn this from a flower into a snowflake. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a pearl, just using one side again, and then going to take a drop, and I'm going to go narrow side down. So just like we were doing before, the kind of smaller tapered end of that crystal is going to go towards the pearl. I'm then going to add on 4 crystal bicones. So again, I'm just going to pull some more off my string. So I'm going to add on my 4 crystals. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to bring that all the way down to the top of that flower at the moment. And now I'm going to take my tail end and I'm going to bring it through that first crystal bicone. So I'm going to go through this part here. Again, it's going to run up just that first one. And as I bring that round, it's going to make this little loop. So what I want to do is I want to make sure that crystal is sitting close to the drop and just pull that tight. So I've started to get that shape there. And now I'm going to add a drop. And I'm going to add the drop wide side down this time. And I'm going to add a little pearl. And then I'm going to bring that through the pearl on the petal. Just here. So I've got it looking like this, and where this pearl is here on that first petal that's nearest, I'm just going to bring that through just the pearl, not the bicone. And as I pull that together, it's going to give me that lovely little point, and we're just going to repeat that all the way round. So again, I'm going to add my pearl, crystal drop narrow side down, 4 little bicones, I'm going to bring the same end that I'm working off just through that first bicone. So I can open it up a little bit at this time so you can see what it is that I'm doing. But once I've got that thread going through it, what I want to do is I want to push that bicone down close to the drop. Hold that in place. So as I bring that through, it's going to sit nice and close. There's going to be no gaps in that. Then I'm going to add another crystal drop going in the opposite direction. Then I'm going to add a pearl on again. And then just through that central pearl in between the bicones at the top of the petal, I'm going to bring that same thread through, and that's going to make my next point. Jo said she loved it as it was. I think that's when we had that lovely little flower section. Angela says you could make a lovely garland with that smaller one. You could. Sheila says it looks beautiful as it is, Natalie. So I've got one here which I'd started. If you wanted to, you could just have that. But I'm going to start making the points on this now. So it's very much larger but more pronounced kind of thing as a snowflake. Mina says to Jo, you can make it with miracle beads. Jo says, of course. And Diane says, I couldn't resist. I bought them all. Oh, thank you so much, Diane. I'm so glad you like them. And I hope you can see how easy they are to do. She says, I've not got to the end yet. But they are just very much a kind of pattern repeat. And it's just a case of knowing what order they go in. So for these kind of points, or I don't know, we've had this conversation before. Do snowflakes have arms? I don't think they have arms, but I'm going to call these points. If we're doing a different style, then I can see why they're called arms, but I'm going to use this as points. So this is what I'm referring to it as. So then I'm just adding the 4 bicones on. Very, very twinkly, very, very pretty. They're going to look lovely under any lighting. I'm going to bring that thread back through the bicone, just that first one. I'm going to position it with my thumb and my finger just to keep that, because you can see as I pull it, it slides them up and along. I want to make sure that that bicone is close down. That pearl needs to be close. Then the drop needs to be close to the pearl. Then that first bicone close to the drop. So when I pull them in together, they're all going to sit nice and close, and it's not going to be too gappy. You're going to get the tension nice. Drop now going on in the opposite direction. So the widest part first. Get more pearls out. Then I'm going to add my pearl. And then I'm going to run it through the pearl on the petal between the bicones. Not going through a bicone, no wants to. And then pull. And that is creating my second point. So you're always going to have 3 pearls in the middle there. So I'm starting with the pearl. I'm adding on my drop, narrow side first, 4 crystal bicones. Good morning, Jackie. Debbie says, oh, a garland sounds like a great idea. This is why I love the lives, because, you know, we can put a kit together and say, do this with it. And then you can go, nope, I'm going to do something completely different, just as wonderful, maybe even more so. And it's nice that we can all have the same kind of components and essentially make so many different things with them. Got my 4 bicones on in position, made that little loop. And then gonna add, so you can see I'm just turning it as I go, really. So it's in the position that I feel comfortable working with, hopefully under the camera still. Drop in the opposite direction and a little pearl. And then through the pearl, in between the bicones on the petal that's nearest to it. Just picking that up so I can see where it's going. Got that lamp right in my face again today. Angela says, if you can work out the next layer, you could make it big enough to go in the window too. You could keep adding to this. You could maybe even, join them together and create a really, really large kind of snowflake pattern with them. Okay, so I've still got that lovely length to work with. I'm going to keep going round till I've got all my petals in place and all my points. We get more bicones off. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bring in the same thread up so it's running in this direction. Slide my bicones and pearls into the position that I want before I pull that tight. Another drop, wider side down. So I've got its little bum, I suppose. I think the only way to really easily remember it is the narrow side should always be closest to the pearl. Back through the pearl here. Just make sure it doesn't go through that bicone. Okay. So I've now got my star to bring this one. I've got my bottom, these two and those two. If I feel like it's a little bit gappy, I can still start pulling it round. It's not fixed officially at this point, so I can just get the tension a little bit better. Once I've done these points, I just need to finish off my last one. So to do that, I'm going to pop a pearl and a drop narrow side down onto each end. So I've got my pearl and a drop, narrow side down, and again on this side. Pearl, drop, narrow side down, and then onto one side. So I'm going to use my longer length. I'm going to flip this over. I've got a slightly longer length of my tiger tail left, so I'm going to work off this one to get more bicones out. I'm going to add 4 bicones just onto one side. So they are going to want to try and cross a little bit at the moment. So I've got my pearl and my drop onto each one, 4 bicones on to one side, and I'm going to loop that same end through the first bicone just to make my loop like I did before. So I'm taking that thread. Make sure you're going in the same direction. I didn't then. Again, still doing the same where I'm pushing that down where I want it to be. So I've got my little loop. Just going to pull that tight. And then I'm going to bring the other side through that same bicone to kind of join it up. So the side that just had the pearl and the drop on, where that bicone that I've gone through, I'm going to tighten that up a bit because there's a little bit of a gap there. where this first bicone that I ran through like I was doing before, I'm going to just take the other end with the pearl and the drop on, and I'm going to go back through that bicone as well. So this one here, focus, this one here, I'm going to take that thread and I'm going to take it back in the opposite direction. And as I pull it, that's going to give me my last little point. Again, I'm just going to try and maneuver it with my fingers. So that is my snowflake, as straightforward as it could possibly be. I've now got my 2 long tail ends, because remember I started with enough on one side, so this is going to be more than enough to make the body of my necklace. Now if you don't want to make the necklace, what you could do is you could use your crimp beads and you could add 2 little crimps, one onto this side and one onto that side, and then just cut off. So I have done that on this one. There you go. So you can barely see the crimp beads, but I've added a little crimp just next to that crystal there. So if you wanted, you could tie a ribbon on it, you could use a jump ring, and you could attach that to a separate necklace. You could do whatever you wanted to with that. You could also use the 2 lengths and make a smaller loop that you've got left over, and that could directly hang on your Christmas tree or in your window or whatever you like. Or you could bead all the way along and you could make a full-on necklace. And given the fact we've got a little bit of time left, I don't think I'm going to make a full necklace, but I will make a little loop so it can hang on a tree or something like that. Let me just check if I've missed any questions. Phoenix says she's late, she's had to catch up. She says hello to everybody, and her lovely doggy is watching, I think, as well, while the windows are being cleaned. Joanne says, I've almost finished my granddaughter's cot mobile, which means I'll be back to beading by the weekend. So many projects to do, including a sun catcher for my little one. These would look lovely on a sun catcher, Jo. You could use them, Joanne, that'd be nice. Oh yeah, look, she's over. Same thought. She said maybe I could do her a snowflake sun catcher too. Lisa says beautiful. She loves it. She'll also give us some stars, I think. So thank you so much for that. Camille is responding to Jo about doing her Christmas cards and making bouquets of daffodils with the fantasy film. I love the fantasy film you've been using, Camille. Phoenix said would look fab in one of those larger wire circles and then hung in the window. Ooh, it would. I know just what you mean. I haven't got one to hand, but yeah, like a frame around it. And then this would dangle in the middle and it could twist. That'd be lovely. Catch the light as well that way. Tracy says, oh, thank you. So she's loving the nails. They are a little bit of a mess now. I've added some extra glitter to cover the sins of me making this weekend. Judith says that's gorgeous. Thank you so much. If you're just joining us, the lovely Mina has shared the link. So we've been making these snowflake pendants today. You can have them as decorations, pendants, or full-on necklaces, whichever you prefer. And you can head over to the website to find the kits. Oh, thank you so much. Lisa says, I'm not sure how the stars work, but wanted to send you some for this tutorial. I think I've done it. I think you have, given the fact Mina said thank you. Thank you so much. Stars work is like a little tip. So Kitty gets the stars at Totally Beads, and they're very much appreciated. So I'm now going to start just doing whatever I fancy with all of the leftovers. And I've got loads. I've got loads of bicones, loads of drops, loads of pearls left. So I'm just going to play about with them, really. If I was making a necklace, I would consider, how they sit comfortably. If I'm going to make just a loop for my tree, or a decoration to hang, then I'm just going to make sure I've got a loop which is large enough for whatever it is that I want to do. I'm just going to make sure whatever I add to one side, I'm going to add to the other side as well. So at the moment, I'm paying no particular attention. I'm just adding pearls, bicones and whatnot. In fact, I can show you some of the ones that I've done. So you can see here on this necklace, I've been adding on my pearls and my drops, and I've been changing the direction in which those drops sit as well. So they're all kind of facing down on this one. And this one, I've just done little sections in. So I've been doing predominantly pearls, then little clusters of the bicones and the drops. On this one, I've done similar. So I've just been adding little patterns. They do look really lovely, and it's lovely to space them out. So you can see here, I've done them in different directions with those drops. This one, there's no drops, they're just the bicones and the pearls. So you can do whatever you want with that. You can keep stringing, you can play about. Once you've finished your design and you've got the same length, the length that you want, which is comfortable around the neck or whatever it is you're doing, we're just going to finish off as usual. So I'm not going to string these, but I'm going to show you how you would string them. If I've got my culottes and my crimp beads, sorry to rustle in my pan. There they are. I did have them out already. So you're going to get these in your kits. So I would finish beading all the way up to the length that I wanted on both sides. I would get my culottes out. So you can imagine there's beads running all the way up to the end. I'm going to add on my culotte, and I'm going to add on 2 crimp beads onto each side because I want to make sure they are nice and sturdy, so I always feel comfortable double crimping. So I'm going to slide, so it's like this. Obviously this is imaginary beaded all the way up to the end. I'm going to come in. Mina's saying, do we get a strand of crystals and pearls? Please, you do. You get a full strand of everything. I don't know whether you get extra of one, but you are going to have enough. I've made sure. Can you believe I sat and I counted how many is in everything? So you will have enough to be able to play around with the necklace design as well there, Mina. Okay, I'm going to slide my crimp bead right up to the end of my tiger tail. I can always trim off my end pieces as well. Oh, I've just dropped one of the crimp beads, slid off. Tell you what, let's start that again because I do want to double crimp it. So, 2 crimp beads on. Slide in the first one up to the end and giving that little crush to flatten it out. Slide in the next one, also up to the end. So they're sitting like that. Can you see how they look flat? And that's going to make sure that when I slide my culotte up, my crimp beads will sit inside of there. And I can press that down gently with my fingers, making sure that these little holes are lined up either side. You can see it's lined up, but they're open. So I'm just going to give it a little push down, just to close it over. And then I'm going to add on my jump rings and my clasp as well. So you'll get your clasp in your kit. They will vary depending on the colour that you've chose. So some might be with gold, some might be with like a silver or a rhodium, and then you can just add it on like that. So I will have, don't know where I've put my clasp, but it will be in your kit, I assure you. And then I'm going to open up my jump rings, give it a little twist towards me, slide that through to the end, and close that over. And I'll do the same on the other side, but I will pop a lobster clasp on as well. And then I can have a full necklace with a lovely snowflake. I've done that right at the end because I am going to finish this off. And I think I'm going to make this into a little decoration. Like so. Mina says, fab, thank you. Want to try a star decoration. I don't know what Camille's responding to. She says, yes, we believe you would. You need to be a professional. I don't know I don't know what I'm talking about now. Never mind 5 minutes ago, Camille. Phoenix says she's never used culottes. I always worry that they'll come off. I always use crimp and crimp covers and wire guardians for French wire. You can absolutely use whatever you like. I always put culottes in most of my kits because I just find them so easy to use. They're not going to come off because you've got those crimp beads. Just like you're doing with your crimp and your crimp covers, they can't come off. And I always double crimp so it's extra sturdy. But if you'd rather use crimp and crimp covers, if you've got them available in your stash, then you most definitely can finish these off any way you want to. Me counting the beads, was it, Camille? Yeah, no. I'll sit and I'll make something, and I'll take things from the warehouse, and then I'll put the design together afterwards, and I'll think, oh, I could have done with an extra one of these, or I could have done with an extra one of that. And sometimes I don't always have them, so I have to message the lovely Simon and go, can you send me another bit of this, please? So I will always make sure whatever I put together will be what's in your kits. Even if I needed more of them, they'll be in your kit. So today we've been doing the lovely snowflakes. I'm going to take you very quickly back over to the website, totallybeads.co.uk. You can see you've got 4 gorgeous colours to choose from. They are £7.99 each. They make a necklace, or if you don't want a necklace, you're probably going to get more than one snowflake out of that kit, because obviously you're going to have enough to bead your necklace. So if you want to make a couple of decorations, you most certainly can. However, if you want a multi-buy, we've got a 2 for £13 offer. You don't have to just get 2, you could get 4, and then you can still get that discount as well. So we've got black diamond, burnt orange, hematite and purple iris for you today. I hope you enjoyed them. I hope I showed you just how easy they were to make. I don't find them difficult at all. They're really easy to do, especially when you don't have to tell anybody what to do. You can just get going with it, and you don't have to worry about your camera and your light setup and things like that. Lisa says, I'm going to make some for Christmas presents. I think they'd be lovely. Phoenix says, cool. I saw a new thing online. It's like a jump ring with a channel at the bottom for whatever you're struggling with. Don't know what that is, Phoenix. Send us a picture so I know what you're talking about, because if I haven't got them, I might want them. Camille says, thank you, Natalie. Lovely little snowflakes. Have a nice day, everybody. And she's going to go back to making daffodils. You're going from each season, in every few minutes you're in a different season, Camille. Rach says, thank you. You're most welcome. Joanne says, beautiful make and fantastic instructions as usual. Thank you, Natalie. Have a wonderful day. You're lovely. Thank you so much. Mina's saying thank you. Tracy saying, great demo, Natalie, as always. Hope everyone has a good day. Jackie says they're lovely, and everyone's giving me hearts and love faces. So thank you so much for being with me today. I will be back with you on Friday. What am I making Friday? Oh, earrings, pendant, earrings. I think I'm going to do some chainmail earrings with you on Friday. They're going to be really simple. I don't know what I'm doing. I've got that much on the go. Phoenix says it's whatever you're stringing with, not struggling. Sorry, I don't know if I read that wrong. Kath says very pretty. She's wishing everybody a lovely, lovely day. And Camille says, oh yeah, heart and a thumbs up. If you would like to give me a heart and a thumbs up, then do so. It's much appreciated. I will see you all on Friday, and I hope you all have a very lovely week. Take care, everyone. Bye.